Okay, I'm going to start bringing some people in. Let it be known that once you get brought into the panelist portion of the room, you will be live on YouTube. The phone number ending in threes, I'm going to bring you in. I'm not sure who you are. If you could just let me know what your name is. So 3333, I have asked you to unmute. So if you can just tell me what your name is, that would be very helpful.
Hi, this is Tim Altoff with Hands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Good from Hands.
I'm going to now ask all in the panelist section to turn on their video and give me an audio test.
Can you hear me, Frank?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me, Frank?
Indeed. Thank you, Deb.
Can you hear me, Frank? Frank?
Mayor, yes, I got you.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning, Frank.
Renee, you're coming in a little choppy, but I think that will resolve itself as your computer does. Now, Deb and Renee, I've made you co-hosts of the meeting because I'm not entirely sure what order you're going to go in for all of these attendees, or really how any of this works because I don't remember it from last year. So if you need my help, I am here, but you guys do have full control of the meeting.
Hey, Frank, my video, I can't get to come on. It says, okay,
I asked you to start it now, so you might be able, yep.
I got it.
Not
Thanks.
sure what happened, but okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Frank, it's Dave Dieter. Can you hear me?
I can, Dave. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Let me try to turn my video on.
Yep, there you go. Just tap it once. Perfect.
Okay.
Are we ready to begin? Is everyone here? Okay.
Okay. Well, want me to kick it off then, Deb? Can't hear.
Yes, Mayor, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks very
Thank
much. All right. Good morning, everyone. And I want to welcome everybody to today's meeting. We'll be doing the same thing again tonight at 6 for people that can't make it to this one. The CDBG funding is a real good source of revenue for not just the city, but a lot of our people that help a lot of areas most needing people. And we're really excited. We got a lot of very good applications. Deb will be over those in some detail, and Dave. Without further ado, let me turn it over to Deb to get things started. Deb.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Deborah Smith. I am the Director for the Department of Economic and Community Development. I'd like to introduce those on the panel. Renee Lamus, who is the Mayor's Chief of Staff. Dave Dieter, Assistant Director for the Department of Economic and Community Development. Veronica Fields, who is the Grant Administrator. And I see we have with us Liz Allen, City Council, as well as, I see Aaron on here. Okay, Aaron Snipper from the Redevelopment Authority, as well as Frank, our media specialist. Okay. All right, so welcome to our first public hearing. The City of Erie Department of Economic and Community Development prepared the 5-year consolidated plan in 2020 for the period of fiscal year 2020 through fiscal year 2024. There were various meetings held. There were stakeholder meetings, there were public hearings, there were focus groups, surveys were completed. All of this was done to get information on the needs of the community. So out of all of those meetings, stakeholder meetings, focus groups, et cetera, the following 6 priorities and subsequent goals and strategies have been identified for the city for the period of fiscal year 2020 through fiscal year 2024 for Community Development Block Grant Program, Home Investment Partnership, and Emergency Solutions. They are as follows. Housing priority. There is a need to improve the quality of the housing stock in the community by increasing the amount of decent, safe, sound, and accessible housing for homeowners, renters, and home buyers that is affordable to low and moderate income persons and families. So the goals and strategies are housing rehabilitation, rental rehabilitation, housing construction, fair housing, home ownership, public housing. B is homeless priority. There's a need for housing and support services for homeless persons and persons who are at risk of becoming homeless. The goals and strategies are continuum of care, operational and support, prevention and housing, permanent housing, other special needs priority. There's a continual need for affordable housing, services, and facilities for persons with special needs and the disabled. The goals and strategies are housing, social services, accessibility. D is community development priority. There's a need to improve the public and community facilities, infrastructure, public services, and the quality of life for all residents in the community. And the goals and strategies are community facilities, infrastructure, public services, accessibility, public safety, code enforcement, clearance, revitalization, historical preservation, economic development priority. There's a need to increase employment, self-sufficiency, education, job training, technical assistance, and economic empowerment of low and moderate income residents in the community. And the goals and strategies are employment, financial assistance, redevelopment program, financial incentives. F is administration, planning, and management priority. There is a continual need for planning, administration, management, and oversight of federal, state, and local funded programs. And so now I will turn it over to Dave Dieter, who will give you the anticipated funding amounts for fiscal year 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, and
Thank
good
you.
morning, everyone. On or about May 13th of 2021, the city will be on schedule to submit its fiscal year 2021 annual statement, which will describe the intended uses of the following resources made available through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, if the official notification of head allocations are known at that time. Per CPD Notice 21-02, the city may delay submission of the fiscal year 2021 annual plan until 60 days after allocations are announced, or by no later than August 16th of 2021, whichever comes first. As of this date, we have not received official notification of our funding allocations for the upcoming program year. So we're estimating the amounts for the following. Community Development Block Grant for the CDBG program, $3,172,095. A Home Investment Partnership or HOME program, $831,144. And the Emergency Solutions Grant or ESG program, $270,136. In addition to the estimated funding resources above, the city has identified and included anticipated or received program income from CDBG and reprogram funds from prior fiscal years. I'll turn it back over to Deb for the next step in the hearing. Oh, actually, I'm going to stay on, Deb, for the projected use of funds.
Yes.
Okay, projected use of funds for CDBG. We're not going to talk about specific allocations because, again, we don't have the official allocation notification. But in general, the following categories are eligible for funding. Public facilities and improvements. Typically, we will fund city park and playground improvements, handicap curb cuts, streets resurfacing, and city demolition. Public service. This category funds summer recreation programs and human resources allocations for social service providers in the city. So it's admin and operation funding for those organizations. Housing rehabilitation, we typically allocate funding for the Erie Redevelopment Authority. Code enforcement, our Bureau of Housing for maintaining property maintenance code and other code related items in the city. Special economic development and commercial and industrial rehabilitation. We also will allocate funds for general administration. That's typically personnel costs for the Department of Economic and Community Development. For the home program, the following categories are typically funded. Home buyer program, owner occupied housing rehab, new construction or rehab to create affordable housing for rental units, community housing development organization operation costs, and administration. For the Emergency Solutions Grant, we typically fund emergency shelters for operations, transitional shelters for operations, and rapid rehousing. This amount is, the allocations are typically based on a formula, which we will review the number of bed nights that were made available by each of the transitional and emergency shelters in the prior year, and then allocate those funds based on that formula. That concludes this section, and I'll turn it back over to Deborah.
Thank you, Dave. Now we'll have Veronica Fields, who will give us the schedule for preparation, adoption, and submission of the 2020 second annual plan.
Morning, everyone. Notice was published in the classified section of the Erie Times on Tuesday, February 16th, 2021, announcing the first public needs and input hearing, which is being held Monday, March the 1st, 2021 at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Notice will be published again on March 15th, 2021, announcing the second public hearing, which is being held on April the 5th, 2021 at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Citizens will be provided an opportunity to present their views on housing and non-housing community development needs, and to comment on the priorities and level of funding assigned by the City of Erie in addressing the needs as contained in the HUD 5-year consolidated plan. Critical dates: December 1st, 2020 to January 29th, 2021. Solicitation of proposals, applications available beginning December 1st, 2020. January 29th, 2021, applications are due. February 1st through the 7th, 2021, review of applications. February 8th through the February 19th, 2021, presentations for CDBG projects. February 16th, 2021, published notice for first public hearing. February 25th, 2021, study session with City Council. March 1st, 2021, first public hearing, citizen input hearings at 10 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. March 15th, 2021, published second annual plan, project use of funds, advertised for required 30-day public comment period ending April 15th, 2021. Second public hearing date will be advertised for April the 5th, 2021. April the 5th, 2021, second public hearing, citizen input, hearings at 10 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. April or May 2021, council authorization to submit second annual plan to HUD. May 13th, 2021, second annual plan submitted to HUD for required 45-day review period ending June 27th, 2021. June 2nd and 16th, 2021, council appropriation and authorization to enter into contract subrecipients. July 1st, 2021, the program year begins.
Thank you, Veronica. Next, we have ground rules for providing public comment. So at this time, we will take public comments from anyone who would like to speak. We ask that you raise your hand so that you can be acknowledged. Please state your name and your agency. You will have 5 minutes to provide comments.
Deb, I'll bring people in and out for you, so you don't have to worry about that.
Thank you.
We'll start with hands, since they were the first ones in the room, and I'll bring in Tim and Matt. So give me a second here.
I'd like to just say one other thing. We will be taking comments. We will not be providing any replies at this time. If you have written comments that you'd like to submit to our office, you can do that by mailing them to 626 State Street, Erie, PA 16501, room 404, or they can be emailed to me at dsmith@erie.pa.us. Thank you.
Tim and Matt, you're on, so if I think you want to start speaking, you can do so.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to take a couple minutes again to thank everybody for the opportunity to have our project considered. Our project focuses on an area of the city near West 26th Street, Peach and Goodrich Street. Hands developed several housing communities in the neighborhood of 2600 block of Peach and Goodrich Street for veterans. And we are looking at expanding our neighborhood development in that area through construction of 6 units that we hope to put on vacant land that is on the corner of West 26th and Goodrich in the 200 block. And I think that this is a model. The city has always provided us funding that has allowed us to leverage much more significant funding sources, including private equity. And again, we just appreciate the consideration and the opportunity to present our project.
Thank you, Matthew.
So next, Mr. Gary Horton.
Okay, good morning, Mayor, and your quite capable team. I want to thank you also for the opportunity to present our project and your efforts at being accessible even in the midst of the pandemic. Your staff has been flexible, I think, even under the circumstances of the challenges that we face and how they're unpredictable when you are required to predict. So I can appreciate the diversity that you all display. It seems to be reflected in your efforts to be inclusive in your consideration of projects. And so we appreciate the opportunity to leverage city resources, to work in partnership with you, to meet the needs of our growing poor population. And we look forward to a continued partnership and trying to make our city better and inclusive for all. Again, so I want to thank you all for the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Gary.
And Gary, thanks for the work you're doing as well. We appreciate it.
Okay, so I see some people using the Q&A. The Q&A is for technical issues. If you have something you'd like to say to the panelists, you can put it into the chat. But coming up next will be Amanda Duncan. It'll take me a minute to scroll back up here. There we go. Amanda, you're on.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Amanda Duncan. I'm the community leader of Radius Co-work located on the 9th floor of the Renaissance Center at 1001 State Street. Additionally, I'm the president of Young Erie Professionals, a program of the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership. I'm representing both organizations this morning in support of Erie Downtown Partnership's Ambassadors Program. While homelessness has plagued our city for as long as any of us can remember, COVID-19 has exposed just how frail our social support infrastructure truly is in providing meaningful support to our unhomed population. Every morning as I walk into my building, I see people sleeping rough in bus shelters, parking garages, and doorways of businesses. The number of unhomed individuals has noticeably increased since the beginning of the pandemic. With COVID limiting access to shelters and public restrooms, these individuals are left with no options to care for their very basic needs. The results affect all of us who live and work here. So what can we do to help? And what should we do when we see this happening? The only resource available to us at the moment is police officers, but the police force exists to regulate crime, and being homeless is not a crime. We need a better solution to ensuring these individuals' needs are met and that they're provided with the resources they need in a dignified and respectful manner. A better solution would be to provide them with access to trained individuals who understand how to best assist them and connect them to resources while maintaining downtown as a welcoming, clean, and safe space for everyone. That is exactly what the Downtown Partnerships Ambassadors Program aims to do. Additionally, they have thoughtfully designed this program to provide 8 additional jobs to low and moderate income individuals living in the downtown core. I want to commend the Downtown Partnership for their consistent support of all downtown residents and their proactive approach to solving a complicated issue in a way that promotes the dignity and respect of our most vulnerable neighbors. While some would choose to simply hide these individuals, the Downtown Partnership chooses to engage and connect. Our unhomed neighbors are still our neighbors, and it is all of our duty to serve and care for them. As everyone's favorite neighbor, Mr. Rogers once said, all of us at some time or another need help. Whether we're giving or receiving help, each one of us has something valuable to bring this world. An investment in the Ambassadors Program shows everyone in our community, especially the most vulnerable among us, that they are worthy and loved. I strongly urge Council to fully fund this program immediately so the Downtown Partnership can begin to employ these resources that are so critically needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Continuing with our downtown trend, apparently, is Mr. John Buttner.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you all. And thank you, Amanda, and thank you, Mayor Shamber, Liz, Veronica, Deb, Dave, and all of the panelists who are here gathered today for us to provide the opportunity to better our downtown. It's hard to not get broken up because there's such a need. As Amanda said, you have the community and you have the business owners and you have the property owners, and our program is aimed at making it better for all to enjoy. The safety and hospitality program would place the 8 specially trained individuals in our downtown to create that visible presence, as well as provide the hands-on service to assist the vulnerable and the homeless, as well as the owners and residents. We have helped and will continue helping the vulnerable and unhomed individuals by supporting the outreach efforts of our social service providers to interact with these individuals more regularly and share real-time information. This real-time information is captured. It can address and capture the concerns with actions and our partners across the economic and social services landscape, issues surrounding support for these individuals, which is amplified through the pandemic and the city in the pandemic. The maintaining of the physical environment will continue. As Amanda and I think this panel knows, that we are committed to serving our low to moderate incomes from the city, these residents. We would hire these ambassadors, ideally from the city of Erie. We'll promote the availability of these positions within this downtown and the census tract that are most impacted by the poverty, which is East 5th to 14th Street, of which 50.7% or of the 800 residents that live in this tract live below poverty. This also includes the poorest zip code in America of 16501. This is an area that we serve in conjunction with the city. The quality of life of these downtown residents will be positively impacted by the work of our ambassadors, especially the residents of the 5 to low to moderate income housing units within our downtown. Ambassadors will help advance the downtown as a safe, clean, and welcoming destination. Their work in the community is real time. It's gathered for our use as well as the city's use, and to help us get ahead of the problems, to proactively work with the ambassadors like the city of Erie to find solutions that make our downtown experience more equitable for all. I know we had talked about before the question regarding, but we had followed a procurement procedure interviewing a third party that have been proven across our nation that these top companies, they did a site visit that discovered to learn it's proven. It's a model that's been tested, and we will be working directly to oversee and work closely with them to implement and manage, but we are building a program collaboratively that will be able to perform the functions of implementation with the partnership in the city. We have reached out to across the Commonwealth, and again, these programs exist. And as one last thing, as a following up, our service footprint covers these 5 census tracts as I just mentioned. We will commit to the low to moderate income individuals in the city of Erie where they are eligible to fit for more employment representing the EDP. We'll make it a priority to promote, as I mentioned. And it's very important. It is very, very important that we hire these ambassadors who represent the downtown community. And that means hiring a diverse workforce. These ambassadors will serve our constituents who live, who work, and visit our 70 block downtown core. They'll be trained to assist and interact with our unhomed and vulnerable individuals, as well as identify the areas within downtown at risk of vacancy and blight. Be trained to engage in a meaningful interacting of downtown residents and businesses. Lastly, help us get ahead of this problem and proactively work with key collaborators like the city to find solutions that make our downtown experience more equitable for all. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Can I ask a question of John, or two questions? John, I did, while you were talking, I Googled and I did see that there are similar ambassador programs across the country. And you mentioned a third party. Did you identify this third party? And if so, do you know what cities that third party is already working in with a similar program?
Great, thank you, Liz. There are two large organizations across our nation, one of which is called Block by Block, and the second is called Street Plus. Through our committee and our process, we have identified Street Plus as the preferred vendor simply because they are a partner and a collaborator that is listening to the needs of Erie and is willing to engage. We've had repeated conversation. They work with 93 communities themselves. They have a Pennsylvania base, but they work with communities in Pennsylvania, including Reading. But programs like this exist in many, I'll say hundreds upon hundreds of communities, Erie, or not Erie, but soon to be Erie, but Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Michigan, every state has an ambassador program present, even our mid-states of the Dakotas. And I use that as a positive because these are proven ambassador programs. So this particular group, as we mentioned, Street Plus, is the one that our committee has vetted through the process. They've been to Erie numerous times. They've studied our needs and are really looking forward to working with us. Did I answer your questions, Liz?
You did. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I had seen the Block by Block is in Grand Rapids. And so that's really helpful. So now I know what you're modeling on or who you're working with. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Edward Sawicki.
Hi, nice to meet everyone. It's my first time here. My name is Edward Sawicki. I'm the owner of a new business that hasn't been launched to the public yet, called Ewix Holistic Gardens. Really starting by selling seed starts to individuals with education on how to cultivate those plants naturally without having to buy any chemical fertilizers or pesticides, and just have a complete holistic natural approach to gardening. In addition to that, through some of the teachings that I'll be doing about microorganism interactions with plants, and then how those plants and microorganisms go on to interact with us, how they make us feel, think, and act, and even a step beyond that, these microorganisms have a ton to teach us about community and doing what's best for this group of people over here while this group thrives over there. And it's something it speaks intuitively to me that these are things that the public needs to know about, that they can be self-sufficient on their own land if they only try, and they don't need very much of it. I just also want to try to impact more farmers in the county too eventually. I know that doesn't really have much to do with here, but yeah, I just want to see a sustainable and regenerative Erie in the future. I know that in the past we've always been looked to for innovation, and I would love to see us be the holistic city.
Thank you, Edward.
I have a question for Edward. Edward, could you just send me an email with your information? It's lallen@erie.pa.us, because some of us on council have been talking to some people involved in urban ag, and I would just like to add you to the conversation as a possible resource, okay? So if you send an email to me, I'm on city council, lallen@erie.pa.us. Thanks. That's my only comment.
Okay, Leanne Hanfield.
Good morning. Good morning, Mayor and Deborah, Councilor and team. This is Leanne Hanfield, Director of Development from Beacon Communities.
Good morning.
Good morning. On behalf of Beacon Communities, we also just wanted to express our appreciation for consideration of our proposal at 515 State Street. We are proposing to rehabilitate and preserve much needed existing affordable housing at Richford Arms in downtown Erie. The project will leverage additional funds, both private and public, and including tax credits that have already been awarded from PHFA to completely rehabilitate this community, address life safety concerns, and tackle some streetscape improvements out front. We are excited to participate in the transformation of this area of downtown, while also preserving this important building as quality, affordable housing for the long term in the city. And again, we just want to say thank you for the city's partnership in our efforts and for consideration of our proposed project.
Thank you, Leanne.
Yes, thanks much, Leanne.
Next, we have Jim Rain. Jim, there's a mute button at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. It looks like a microphone. There you go.
How's that? I'm sorry about that.
No worries. We can hear you. Thank you.
Jim Ream. I am the treasurer of Methodist Towers that for the last 48 years has existed on the corner of 8th and Sassafras. It's a 13-story, 135-unit senior housing community that serves the moderate and low-income residents and has done so very well for a long, long time. Our situation is now that we have some major infrastructure needs to keep that building up and running and don't have the funds to make these repairs. Just like Richford Arms, we're pursuing low-income housing tax credits as well, and we're waiting to hear about that development. But in the meantime, we wanted to express the specific needs we have to keep this building safe for all the residents that live there. So I appreciate you taking a look at our proposal and what we're doing, and we'll certainly keep you informed with our developments as I stay tuned to your developments as well. So thank you all.
Thank you, Jim.
I apologize. I'm probably going to mess this name up, but Cameron Koboleski. Cameron, you're not muted anymore, but if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Oh, hey, I'm Cam from Hands. I just kind of wanted to echo Matthew's comments. We're working on 6 units on 26 and Goodrich Street, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Cameron. Next is going to be Shema Musa.
So it's Jenny Haggerty from Mercy Center for Women. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everyone. And I just want to continue to share our appreciation to the city for believing in our mission, which is rehabilitating a former school building, Holy Rosary, into 13 two-bedroom apartments for those women and children to continue their journey into permanent housing. We speak about collaborations. I've heard many of the speakers share with us the importance of collaborating and working together as a city. And that's what we're doing here at the Mercy Center. We are looking for those team players to be a part of our vision moving forward. We are in a $2.5 million capital campaign. We've just reached 2.2 million for a social service agency. This speaks volumes of the need as to where we're located, and that is in the Marvintown Academy area. So this will change lives. We hope to open this facility in early 2022 and move forward, especially with homelessness. Yes, it is very obvious that many of those who are seeking a better lifestyle are circulating in the downtown area, but there's so much beauty too on 28th and East Avenue that we continue to strive and want to share with others. So again, thank you so much for your support, and stay well.
Thank you, Jenny.
Chad Dixon.
Hello, I'm Chad Dixon. I'm the CFO of Bethesda Lutheran Services. And we have our Trinity Center on West 18th Street in Erie. And for a number of years now, we have operated a summer recreation program. It's a 6-week program right there on West 18th Street in our building. And the kids come in, great programming and everything goes on. We also have programming year round at the Trinity Center, all benefiting the youth right there in the city of Erie. I mean, I can go on and try to sell our program even more, but really I just want to take this opportunity and say thank you to CDBG. Thank you for the funding from the city of Erie, and thank you for all that you guys do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
David Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, there's a unmute button. It looks like a microphone. It'll be at the lower left-hand part of your screen. I'll give you 30 seconds or so to figure that out. And if you can't get on, then we'll come back to you. Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, I hope you can work out your technical issue. We'll come back to you in just a minute. Next up is Karen Gretler. Karen, there's a mute button at the lower left-hand side of your screen that looks like a microphone. If you could tap that, you'll be able to speak. There you go. I see that you've unmuted yourself. If you just go ahead and talk, we should be able to hear you.
This is Karen with the JFK Center.
Okay, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just want to thank CDBG staff and the mayor. You've been good to us. We appreciate it. Thanks much.
Thank you, Karen.
Larry Bozolt.
Yes, can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, good morning and thank you. I had not been preparing myself for any elongated dissertation here. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Enterprise Development Center of Erie County. I am the project manager for this economic development project in a low moderate income area. I'll be very brief here, and certainly if there are any questions, I'll try to answer them. The project is basically to develop 4 acres of land and put up a large warehouse and distribution center facility, 90,000 square feet, of course. And this building would be rented a long-term lease to our private sector party, Berry Global Plastics, who will come in after we've done the environmental remediation of the site and have the building up to speed, come in as a long-term tenant for a 15-year period with options to renew. This would obviously retain the job base of Berry Global and allow them, as we have mentioned in our application, within the immediate short term, create up to 15 new jobs. We feel that's very conservative. However, we're following the basic or minimum parameters of the CDBG program. That said, again, in addition to this being an economic development project, I mentioned that this is an environmental remediation project. The 4 acres of land that are off of Myrtle Street and just north of 16th Street, we've gone through a lot of environmental testing here. The site itself is in line with the state environmental standards. There's nothing really obnoxious with any of the underground soils that are there. We will have to cap certain areas on that site, and we're working with the Department of Environmental Protection to make sure that we do everything according to state regulations. So that's moving along very well. We should have this done within a month, and we'll have we do have a scope of work approved by DEP, and we should have the final results of that very soon. So again, this is a joint economic development project and an environmental project, as we call it, a brownfield project. So it has many benefits to the city: tax base, job retention, and job creation. So with that, if there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, Deb. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Shirley Shell.
Yes, I'm with Mercy Center for Women, and I just would like to thank you for your ongoing support of our projects. We serve homeless women with or without children who are seeking to become self-sufficient and literally tax-paying citizens. So just thank you.
Thank you, Shirley.
Theresa Walsh.
Oh, hi, I am a part of DECD. I am the Assistant Grant Administrator, so happy to be here as an attendee.
Thank you, Theresa. David Gonzalez will try to bring you back now. Once again, Mr. Gonzalez, there is a microphone at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. If you tap that, you should unmute yourself.
David, if you like, you could provide us with written comments.
Deb, I don't see anyone else. I don't think I missed anyone, but if I did, missed someone in the attendees panel, if you could use the raise your hand button. But I think I got everyone. I think everyone has been heard.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, at this time, we're going to have closing comments from the mayor.
Thank you, and I'll be very brief. I really do appreciate everyone who spoke and all the good work they're doing to transform our city, especially with low and moderate income individuals, and helping people who have maybe fallen on their face to get up and start their life over again. This is a very important work in our community, and I'm glad we've got these funds to help everyone do it. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say that the proposed projects will be in the newspaper on March 15th. We'll also have another public hearing today at 6 p.m. for anyone who would like to listen to the same information that we provided this morning. Our next public hearing, which is our second public hearing, will be on April 5th. There will be one at 10 a.m. and one at 6 p.m. We thank you all for coming. We thank you all for your comments. You can still make comments. They can be mailed to our office, Department of Economic and Community Development, 626 State Street. You can send them to my attention, Deborah Smith, or you can email me your comments at dsmith@erie.p.